Yeah, I'll finish you first.
Hi. Hello.
Sorry, we're just chatting away here. As usual.
As usual.
It's like we don't get a countdown or anything.
No, I think we've actually been like sitting here chatting for about half an hour and getting ourselves organized and all that stuff.
Yep.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome to Two Tangled Skeins. I'm Sue, also known as Crafty Knitter 7. Today we are March 25th, 2017. This is episode 198, getting close to the 200s. You need to be here in 2 weeks. And I'd like to welcome new and returning viewers.
Welcome. My name is Selma. I'm also known as Selma Knits. And you can find us on Twitter, Instagram, and we all have Etsy shops.
And I'm Lynn, also known as Toll Baby. And we also are on Ravelry, Facebook, YouTube. You put Twitter twice and Instagram twice.
That's all right.
we're Twitter. Yeah, we're Twitter, and Instagram. Well, I can mention the group Instagram that we have for the podcast that I don't think we've ever used, have we?
I use it all the time.
Oh, okay.
And
apparently
also,
I don't follow us.
Maybe you should.
You can subscribe to this craziness on YouTube if you want.
Yes.
And you can also join our group in Ravelry. That's where generally our knit-alongs are available, and prizes. In order to be eligible for them, you have to be part of the group. So subscribe, join if you like, and welcome.
And if you're on YouTube and not on Ravelry, get over here.
Yeah.
Now, don't pick on Enid.
Except for you, Enid.
Enid, really?
I'm sorry.
I just about died. Michael finally recorded a podcast after like 2 months, and he called her Edna.
Oh!
As soon as he said it, I'm like, oh, you're in trouble.
Yeah, so here we are. This is a podcast about knitting.
Okay,
ostensibly.
thank you.
Sorry.
Yeah, like, you know.
And our experiences with knitting. Sometimes positive, sometimes not so much. Depending on the day.
I think we've been around each other too much.
Just
Perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps.
So
yeah.
you both have foes. Right?
You have a big foe.
The mighty foe.
I got 2 foes, actually.
Me too.
You really?
Yes.
That's cool.
But yours are one of yours is much bigger than mine.
Yeah. So the last time I was on, I believe I had started my skirt.
Yes.
Or did I start it after? I
You
was
were
swatching for my
You were
skirt.
swatching.
So I sort of
Remember the one
improvised.
she wanted to wear to Edinburgh?
Yes.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
6 days later?
Hello.
Hi.
Sorry, we're a little cramped because we're figuring out.
We're figuring out a new setup because the futon sofa is gone, and we're sitting on 3 different chairs, and so it's just creating a different dynamic here.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to knit this skirt out of Barocco Inca tweed, which is kind of a chunky, bulky yarn. I think I ended up knitting it on 5mm needles, and it was really an improvised skirt. So here it is. Oh, and that's the back. It was a very, very simple skirt, meant to be.
And it looks amazing.
I really love it, I have to say. And you know what? I've worn it. I wore it a whole day at Edinburgh Yarn Festival, and I wore it to work the other day. And
There's no sagginess.
I know. I was like, let's see if I get saggy bum with this skirt, and it doesn't. I can't remember what the composition. I think there's alpaca in it, just so you know, Lynn. But there's some nylon and some acrylic and some alpaca and some wool. So I think it's important when you make a skirt to look at the composition of the yarn. I find 100% non-superwash wool very good option for skirts.
That'll give you a saggy bum.
No, it doesn't.
Superwash?
Superwash would, but non-superwash is good. And I would never use 100% cotton because I think that would give you saggy bum for sure. I think linen would be okay, and a combination of linen and cotton would be fine. I did make a skirt for somebody out of linen cotton. I think it was fine. So it's I think it's really important to choose your the yarn carefully. And I've actually got a knot at the back of the skirt just to show me that is the back of the skirt. Because when I was doing, so what I did was I did a double, like a fold over rolled hem, but it's a rolled waistline. And I've got an elastic in there. I did not have the elastic at the Edinburgh Yarn Festival.
Sorry.
Oops. But it still stayed up, which was awesome. So it did. But I did want to finish it with an elastic. And which also brought in the waist because it seemed to be bigger than the rest of the skirt for some bizarre reason. but it brought it in. And then I just increased until, I basically took the measurement of my waist, took the measurement of the widest part of my hip, and then
hold it in that hand.
Figured out. Sorry, she's got problems with alpaca. So and then I just did the increases.
I don't.
I figured out how many inches it was and about how often I needed to do the increases, and that was it. And I actually did a few increases.
You didn't even crack a smile with that.
Sorry, I'm in the middle of talking.
I know.
And I did a couple of increases along the back so that it would go a little bit out in the back. And then I just did some 2x2 ribbing at the bottom.
I love how it brings it in at the bottom. Like when you're wearing it, it really
and
does.
it just sits really nicely. It's mid thigh.
That's okay. I'm just staying over here.
okay.
She's just worried about touching the yarn. It's mid thigh, so it's nice to wear with thick tights or leggings. And what did I have on with it the other day? A black top, black t-shirt, and a gray cardigan. So I'm really happy with it. And when I got this yarn, which was actually a birthday present from Sue, I knew that I wanted to make a skirt. I still have one ball left, whole entire.
I didn't buy it though.
You gave me a gift certificate to Webb's.
Okay.
And
I think you should make a matching cowl.
I might make a cowl with it. I have one ball
wear them
left.
Together.
So yeah, I could wear this, kind of like that too. Anyway, I'm really, really, really happy with this. I'm glad I did it. I had it in my head, and it turned into reality. That's so fun.
Mm-hmm.
And then just before we left for Edinburgh, another item that Lynn's going to have to scoot over for. I didn't wear it today, partly because I knew I was going to boil in here if I did, and also because I knew that I wouldn't be able to sit next to Lynn because there is alpaca in this. I started this just before I left for Edinburgh. It is I think it's called the Light Turtleneck. It's by Anna and Heidi Pickles. They're based in Oslo, and I think Pickles is their last name. I always thought it was kind of a funny name, but I think it's their last name. And they have a whole yarn line. Actually, they've got beautiful yarns, and they offer patterns, obviously, for their yarns. And this light turtleneck is meant to be knit with a lace weight mohair and I think a fingering weight yarn. It's meant to be double-stranded. And I saw Melissa from Espace Tricot. She had made this. I had this mohair in my stash for quite a while, and I had the idea for something like this, double-stranded, something big and cushy and comfy. And then when I saw Melissa's turtleneck, I was like, that's it. That is what I'm making. So I went out. It just
takes that sometimes,
Yeah. It's been in my stash for 4 years, this mohair, and so I went out to Wool Time. I got some Sadness Garn Mini Alpaca, which is an alpaca yarn, and the mohair is what was that now? It's Giselle.
Yeah, Classic Elite Yarns Giselle.
Classic Elite Yarns Giselle, which I bought in Montreal a good 4 years ago. In fact, it was when I was going to visit my dad, and he was sick, and you stayed for a while. He was having bypass surgery. That's when I bought this, which I think was 4 years ago.
Wow.
So, and I just finished it.
So you can stretch it.
I took a picture of it, and I put it on Instagram, and I'll put it on my project page as well. But it's just a loose, wide...
And it blocked out nicely.
It blocked out really
wide.
nicely, because I was worried that it was too snug, and I was like, it's hard to make I'm so used to making sort of form-fitting sweaters that the idea of making something big and loose was, I think I was struggling with that. But then when I wet it and blocked it out, it just loosened really nicely. It did, and relaxed.
Really nice on you.
And so I've got like Melissa did, a split hem with
that's nice.
Longer in the back and shorter in the front. And it's just going to be one of those, it's very warm, so it's going to be the kind of thing that I wear in the fall or on really cold days. I think it would actually look good with my skirt.
I was going to say, we should get a picture of you modeling both.
I think it would actually look good with my skirt. And I love this so much, I almost want to go out and buy, I really loved Melissa's, which was kind of in a olive color.
I'm going to make an executive decision. We'll put a picture of that at the end.
I would almost make another one. It was so much fun. It was such an easy knit, simple top-down raglan, and great fun. They told to make a 10-inch turtleneck, and I actually think it's a bit intense as a turtleneck. Like, it really comes up. I might do it a little bit less next time. I'm not sure, but we'll see when the next time is. But I really,
or maybe more of a cowl next time.
yeah, we'll see. But I really, really, really enjoyed working on this. It was great travel knitting, even though it got a little big after a while. And I really didn't knit in driving in Scotland so much, especially at the beginning, because, oh my gosh, that was stressful. Driving on the other side of the road with the steering wheel. I never drove. Liz drove the whole time. But after the first day,
You were in the wrong seat.
I woke up the next morning like, oh, my leg's sore. And I realized I was so tense in the car and kept thinking we were going to hit the side of the road because the roads are super narrow and we're on the opposite side. And anyway, it was...
You're not accustomed to where the boundaries of the car are when you're on the wrong side.
I know.
I freak out every time Rob drives my car because I don't know the boundaries of the car from the passenger seat.
When we picked up the car, there was a little scratch on it, which they had in their notes, and we pointed it out, and it was on the left side of the car. And I said to Liz, they were foreigners like us trying to drive on the wrong side of the road.
And they hit the...
But we did not add a single scratch. I'm here, testament to safe driving.
But I mean, you got to see a lot of stuff because you rented a car.
Oh, it was great. Absolutely wonderful.
If you follow her on Instagram...
Yeah, I didn't want to like bombard people with too many pictures, but I did take a lot of pictures.
She was showing me the rest, and it's just like, oh my. You could do collages.
Yeah, I might.
It's really nice.
But, yeah, so I didn't knit in the car quite as much as I thought I would, especially in the beginning. Later on, it got a little easier. But, yeah, it was a little on the stressful side.
Over there?
Yeah, we'll put those over there for now.
Thank you.
So there you go. Those are the two. It makes me look like I've been knitting like a fiend, but that was essentially a bulky sweater knit on 6.5 millimeter
Well, they
needles.
also haven't seen you for at least 2 weeks, so.
Yeah, I guess I was here 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Wow, does that mean I knit the sweater in 1 week? I think I did.
You did.
It was knit on 5 millimeter.
No, she doesn't knit fast at all.
I do not knit that fast. I'm not a fiend.
You've knit a sweater and a skirt since the last time they saw you.
Bulky.
I was going to say, your fingering sweaters take 28 days. Trust me, I know.
Anyway, off to your FOs.
Okay, well, I have some foes. I knit yet another one of these. It's the same pattern I've been using since the beginning, but I did something a little different. I knit it exactly the way I knit all the other ones, but instead of Kitchener-ing the top, I did a 3-needle bind off and then took a very small crochet hook. Rather than do a 3-needle bind off, what I really did was knit the two sides together and kept all the stitches on the needle, and then took a small crochet hook and crocheted across. Mm-hmm. Like crochet bind off. Mm-hmm. So that means it's gathered and it's making ears on its own rather than just being a big rectangle. It makes makes more of a curled ear.
It does. Meow meow.
So this one,
so cute.
It is and I really hate this word, so I apologize. It is the Chunky Pussy Hat by Julie Packard. Shut up. I just don't like saying that word.
I know you don't.
And it's out of Fleece Artist in a discontinued super bulky merino base that they never ended up marketing. And the colorway is berries. I really like the fact that the little ears curl. I think Sarah will like that
Every
too.
time you say the word you don't like, I think of the way they call the girl in Orange is the New Black.
I don't know.
Poussey.
But that's her name.
I know, but...
And it's not spelled the same.
I know that.
Like, and she's supposed to be from Louisiana or something, isn't she?
So there's a French kind of
yeah.
aspect to it.
Anyway.
Back on track. Can we get back on track?
Now I'm trying to remember the name of that champagne now.
Which champagne?
I can't remember it now, but it's 2 words and they both sound kind of like that. So anyway, and it's done on a 6.5 millimeter needle, which is US 10.5. And this one is for my friend Sarah, who is Rabbit Ribbit on Ravelry and Rabbit Ribbit Lamb Stitch Markers on Etsy. So that's one of my foes.
That's great.
I started that on Tuesday and I finished it on Thursday.
Bulky?
Yeah.
It's the same yarn, isn't it?
Yes. I have one more skein after this. Because I promised Sylvia had to. I told them that I would make them each one, so...
Did you make it the same size? Same number of stitches?
Yeah. It's exactly the same as all the other ones. It's okay, Sarah's got a bigger head than you. It was too loose on her. And the other faux that I have, I finished my little flax.
And that gray is like perfect gray. Look at that gray. It's so beautiful.
I thought it would look very good on Wyatt.
Oh, it would look good on me. Can I fit into that?
I don't think it will fit.
Can I try?
And it's acrylic, so do you really want to wear it?
But it's so beautiful.
I know, it's really soft for acrylic. It's one of the nicer acrylics I've knit with.
It's a really beautiful acrylic. So what acrylic is this?
This is Knit Picks Brava, worsted. Let's start with the beginning. This is the Flax by Tin Can Knits. Selma's throwing me off track.
Sorry.
And yeah, I've knit, I think this is my 4th one. I've knit a bunch of these. I knit an adult size one for my son, which I never saw again. I'm pretty sure it's at his father's house somewhere. And that one took me 2 months. I'm rather ashamed that this one took me more than a week, because honestly, you could knit it in about 6 hours. But once I got to the body, it was like the black hole of knitting, and I was so bored. But I finished it, and the only thing I changed was that rather than do plain 1x1 rib on the ribbing at the cuffs, the neck, and the hem, I did twisted rib. That's the only thing I changed about the pattern. I'm calling it finished. I want to do one of the little heart appliques that they have in the Heart on Your Sleeve book from Tin Can Knits, but I haven't done it yet. So I want to do that before I give it to Crystal. But yeah, this is for Crystal's little guy. And this is the second flax I've knit for him.
He's 18 months, I think, eh?
Yeah. This is a 2 to 4 year size.
How would that fit a 4-year-old, really?
Yeah, well, that's why I made it. I actually made the sleeves shorter. I knit them according to the pattern, but I think they're going to be 3/4 length sleeves on him, and as he gets older, they'll get shorter. But yeah, well, he's not a very big kid either.
True.
He this would barely fit. It was funny because we were joking about this. I was at Elizabeth's house on Thursday, hanging out with her baby, and he's a very big baby. He almost weighs what Wyatt weighs now. And he's 5 months. He's just a very, he doesn't have fat rolls or anything. He's just a very solid baby. Which is weird because both she and Chris are very, very slender people and not very, what's the word for that? It's not...
Big boned or...
No, it's they're very stocky. The baby is very stocky. They're not stocky people at all. They're more willowy.
Yeah.
So it's really weird that this baby has this physique, but I'm sure he'll be fine.
Well, I remember Yato being 20 pounds at 6 months.
Yeah.
So
Zach was almost 30 pounds on his first birthday.
Wow.
He's tall.
He's a long, lanky kid now.
Yeah, well, he was 24 inches when he was born. So he had to wear 6-month clothing when he was born because he was too tall for the newborn and 3-month stuff.
I think Yato was about that too.
Well, the best part I think of when I had Zach was the nurse going, "Oh my God, look at his feet." And I was like, "Whoa, what's wrong with his feet?" He's coming out of me and she says this and I'm like, "What? What's wrong with his feet?"
I can't see.
They were just really huge. He had huge feet. So, yeah.
No wonder you felt him when he was kicking you.
Yeah, let me tell you. I actually used to have a picture of... Jeff had taken a picture of my side here. And it was a perfect outline of Zach's foot. Sticking out of my skin. Jeez. Because he just had his foot pressed up against the side of my belly. So we had this really neat picture of just his footprint sticking out. Yeah, that was fun.
No,
he knocked me to the ground more than once by sticking his feet up into my rib cage.
It's when they do the rib cage and the bladder all at the same time.
Yeah. The going into the rib cage, and
he was like, "I just want to stretch out," and I'm like, "Then leave."
Get out, and you can stretch all you want.
Because he was also considerably late, so that was
so was my son.
So anyway, that's my flax.
I really am impressed with that yarn. First of all, the color is absolutely
I know. I was looking at her stash, going.
I'm having fantasies about going on the Knit Picks website later.
And they don't just have worsted. I think Brava comes in sports.
Yeah, I have sport.
And bulky.
Yep. I'm not an acrylic girl, but...
This is really nice acrylic. These were leftovers from my cousin's big blanket last year, the Hex blanket. So, by Ruby... Nova Seals. The Ruby Hexagon blanket by Nova Seals.
I need to stay off Knit Picks because of the gradient they have.
Yeah, Knit Picks has a new gradient for Stroll. Yeah.
Well, and you've got 2 things you're going to show us today with Knit Picks, and both of them I'm quite impressed with the yarn.
What's the other one I did with Knit Picks?
It's your swatch, which you're going to show later.
Oh, I already showed the swatch. You weren't here.
Oh,
That
right.
was
And
last
I haven't
week.
had a chance to watch the entire episode
That's
from
old
last week.
news, lady.
I'm so sorry.
My little swatch that I was doing for my Heart on Your Sleeve cardigan by Fiona Ellis, which will make a future appearance, but I haven't started it yet because I wanted Selma to check out my gauge swatch first, and now she has, so I can cast on.
I have, and I give it a full thumbs up.
And then
Now-
just gotta check out a sweater thingy for me, so glad you're here.
I will confess that I used 4 different needle sizes to knit this sweater.
Why?
The body is done as size 8.
Sorry. I just see this.
Yeah,
like
she did
really
it to me
long
earlier.
needle. Sorry. I'm going to try and be more mindful about
Now I know
that.
how Sean feels when I do it.
So the body is done in size 8, which is a 5mm, and the ribbing is done in a 6, which is a 4mm. But that's not the sizes Stephanie sent me. Stephanie from Stitchcraft Marketing sent me some, actually I have them here somewhere. She sent me some marbles needles from Knitter's Pride so that I could try them out. These lovely plastic DPNs that are so nice to knit with. I will talk a little bit more about that later.
Don't stop at plastic.
No. Oh no, they're fantastic. I even had Teresa try them last night and she was like, wow.
Not the plastic needles we're used to.
Nope. So, because she had sent me a US 7, which is a 4.5mm, and a US 5, which is 3.75mm, the sleeves are done in 7 and 5 instead of 8 and 6.
It works.
It does work because honestly it's less than a millimeter's difference. You can't tell. You can't tell at all by looking at it.
I'm in love with that.
I thought you'd like that gray. This
It's
is
silvery gray.
Yeah.
It is. It's really beautiful.
This is the gray I was doing the outlines of the hexagons in.
And you know, it's interesting because when you were doing that, it didn't strike me as being that beautiful, but seeing it in a garment.
Because it's tonal. It's not
It
a
is.
solid gray. If you look at it closely, there's a lot of variations in the gray. And it's a very subtle tonal, but I really like it. So, yes, I did 4 different needle sizes to knit the sweater. And I was waiting on these to do the sleeves. Because I don't have any VPNs in these sizes. So that's why I was waiting on those. And I was really happy with how they worked up. And I got to test the needles at the same time, so it was kind of awesome. And that's my phobes.
Cool. So, on to whips.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you should start.
I will. Where's my pattern? It's in black and white, unfortunately. Oh no, I have it in color somewhere. Darn it.
It's all right.
You know where you can see right now.
Nope. So this, what I'm knitting on, is the Falls Church Cowl, and it's a light gray cowl with pops of stripes of colors.
Can I see? I haven't actually seen what this.
Who is that by?
That's a good question.
It's by Tega Hilliard. She posts on Instagram a lot.
Okay, so it's essentially a tube.
Yeah.
It looks like there's a little bit of eyelets in it.
Yeah, there's eyelets at the bottom, and right now I'm at the beginning, so this is a different color than I showed last week because last week's yarn was not working. It was just like flopping off itself.
Yeah. And I've had the same problem with that yarn in the socks I put it in.
And this is Regia, but that's, I don't know anything
The Regia, like just the basic
Yeah,
Regia.
the foreplay.
Isn't that beautiful?
And their basic ones, the colors are really lovely.
So thank
say.
you, Lynn.
You're welcome.
And the
'Cause it
pops
came
of
from my
color are going to be these, which I showed on Instagram that I dyed up. I don't want to get the light. There we go. So that's going to be the pops of color.
She dyed herself a rainbow.
I sure did because I wanted to try different dyeing. The other thing I'm knitting on, and I'll show you a finished part of it. Oh wait, my bag, Hawthorne Cottage Craft. It's an amazing bucket bag. I absolutely love it. And well, green. So I'm knitting my second egg to owl pattern. So this is the first one, and I'm on the body part of the second one. So that's
So
what that looks
adorable.
like. And these are gifts for somebody's kids at work. and then it goes back into this little egg, and that's by Susan B. Anderson. And this
She
is all
loves
acrylic.
those types of things, eh?
Yeah, and this is all acrylic. She'll
You can toss it in the washing machine
Yeah,
and the kid
exactly.
pukes on it.
Yeah. So I've basically, the egg was already done, so I've joined.
That's why anytime I'm knitting a baby gift for anybody who's not a knitter, it's always acrylic.
Mm-hmm.
For knitters, I give them the choice.
It's a funny story because I had given her this little, is it Rebecca Danger? No, Susan Claudino. It's a mouse. And I'd given it to her for her daughter. Well, it's on her desk because she says it looks great with her desk. And I was like, okay, so now I'm going to knit your daughter something else. Might as well knit your son one at the same time.
Exactly.
Who's that for?
Ariane. So.
And it was funny because she wanted to reverse them. That was
And
her original plan, and she forgot.
Not that I forgot. I don't know where I put the yellow.
Oh.
Not a clue.
Well, I better find it.
This is a Silver Shed USA bag, who is actually the mother of...
Oh dear.
Don't look at me. I have no idea.
Megan and
Amy.
Okay.
Amy from Stockhead Zombies. This
Oh,
is her
okay.
mom. And so that's what I'm using for that.
I don't remember people's faces. You remember you expect me to remember who they're related to?
No, and I did a little bit here on other things, but nothing really major to show. So, Selma?
Well, let's see. So I finished the turtleneck the other day. When I was on the plane coming back from Edinburgh, I was knitting on the sleeves, and when you're knitting on the sleeves, you're like having to twist the cardigan a lot, and I thought, I'm not doing that in the small space of a plane. So I started a pair of socks, which I had brought with me, expecting that I thought, well, if I finish my sweater, then I can do this, and if not. So this is in one of my bags that I
love
made.
that fabric.
I do too, from Little Creek Designs. And I am using the second, I had bought 2 colorways of this Bergère de France Gumi 50. The first one was the Imprime Beige, and this is the Imprime Prune, so kind of a prune color. And I wanted to I realized all my socks are bright. And if I'm wearing black leggings with my little booties and I've got like this bright green thing showing, that's fine. But I thought it would be nice to have something a little bit more somber from time to time. So...
Oh, I love those socks. I started those. I never finished them.
So I started, and I'm doing it backwards because I wanted to do it toe up. This is the Business Casual pattern by Tanis Levelet. Quite honestly, I think it would have been easier to do it the other way around to start with, just because there's a funny fiddly thing you have to do at the edge. It's kind of like it's a zigzag cabling pattern. You can see that.
They're crisscrossy.
Yeah, crisscrossy. And when the crisscrosses go to the edge, there's a little thing you have to do with the yarn on the needle, on the other needles, and it gets a little fiddly.
That's why I stopped.
Yeah, it's a little fiddly.
It's too complicated for me.
I haven't enjoyed it as much as I thought I would. I love the parts until I get to there, and then I'm like, oh crap, now what do I have to do? But I am just on creating the gusset right now, and I think I'm going to make sure that I end on a dark color so that it does what I'm wanting these socks to do. And it'll be nice to have a pair of dark socks in my stash of socks, because pretty much everything is kind of bright. And so these will be a little bit more subtle than the others. So I'm knitting these on my Chow Goose, which I absolutely love, on 2.25 millimeter. So that's one work in progress. And then, well, I won't say anything.
We can. You can do it early.
You have to now.
We can do it early. Go ahead.
Well,
they know they're going. What
You
are you
mention
talking
it
about?
and then not say anything.
our Around the World by Design, Cal, as you know, we have been in Oceania for the last 3 months.
We've been away.
We've been away in Oceania, and I started my Lily Pilly, which I haven't finished yet, but that is going to, and I haven't touched it at all, so that I'm hoping to move on with probably this week. But I started thinking about our next Cal, and we discussed the other day
We did say we'd announce it next week, but
And today is
it's
next
okay.
week, right?
Well, no, we said the 1st, next week.
Oh, really?
That's fine.
Okay.
Well, we want to give you a little time to prepare
That's okay.
because we're going to Europe next.
Yes, we are.
We're going to Europe. Talk about a plethora of designers.
Oh, I'm not even going to link them. There's too
I
many.
don't even know how to pick a country. I mean, there are that many designers.
Yes, so many. Although I was thinking, how many Italian or Spanish designers are there? Probably not that many, but certainly from the UK, from Scandinavia, from Russia, from Germany, Switzerland, France. Oh my goodness, there are so many designers.
Mm-hmm.
There are
And
entire styles of knitting that are native
oh,
to Italy.
totally,
So
yeah.
there have to
that's
be
true.
designers in Italy.
So of course there are.
And there are cold
I just
parts of Spain.
yeah. There are what?
Colder parts of Spain.
Yeah, yeah. Well, in the whole Katia,
I heard
I
cool,
think,
like-
is Spanish yarn.
Heard cool, like awesome. But
Yeah.
you meant colder.
Yeah.
Yes, cold.
So anyway, I started thinking, okay, I really want to knit a sweater next. And it would be great if it could fit in with the cowl, because I also have a shawl that I'm going to be making that is from a European designer. So it's not a question of only necessarily having one. So I found this cardigan. I actually saw a woman wearing this at EYF, and I went up to her and said, I really like your cardigan. She was wearing it in kind of like the same pink as your hat, like really bright. And she had made a short version. And I just loved the stitch on it. So she mentioned it. I went on to Ravelry and I just bought it. Whoops. This is called the Ruta cardigan. It's by Karin Weststrand. She's a Swedish designer. And it's got a textured stitch on it. There's a picture of a close-up. So our friend Holly had given me some yarn.
I like yours better.
This Joe Sharp Alpaca Kid Luster, which is in this like deep eggplant color. And thank you. So I started swatching last night, and it just happens to be in my bag by Hawthorne Cottage Craft.
That's the only project bag I brought this week too.
Yeah, look at that. You've got yours as well. So thank you, Kate. So I swatched last night, and I showed these ladies because I'm like, I don't know, like I love the yarn, I love the stitch pattern, but because of the sort of light twist on this yarn, I don't know if you can
And it's
see that.
alpaca.
I was a little concerned that the stitch definition was not sufficient for the pattern.
See, there's a reason we get together each week. We need help.
So, but both of these people here seem to think that it's lovely.
It doesn't pop as much as the picture on the pattern,
But I like it.
but it's a very subtle texture, and it's going to be really pretty.
So that's what it's looking like so far. And it will be sort of like a really dark plum cardigan.
So are you swatching it on 2 different size needles?
No, I actually got almost gauge. I don't think I want to go smaller.
Okay.
You like
I
the
think-
fabric.
I think I like the fabric. For me, it was more the stitch definition. Like I kind of feel like the
I
little
like it.
middle
like-
sections get a little lost.
Like
I don't
Lynn
know.
said, once it's a full pattern, you're going to get more of the...
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
What really pops is the little garter ridges that happen here and there. So anyway, I don't know.
It's showing up a lot better on camera.
It is showing up really nicely on camera, which brings me,
chime in. Tell us what you think.
yeah. But I certainly like the yarn is so beautiful. So if it turns out that I'm just too hemmy and high for this, then I'll choose something else. But I definitely want to make that. And I really like the cardigan as well. So I'm swatching on that, and then Sue has been whoopsies.
It's the focus. It'll come back.
It's not.
There we go. Sue has been working on the Stria cardigan, which I would also like to make. And so I have been swatching for that as well. We were kind of thinking of doing a bit of a knit along.
I think this picture shows the sweater
It's a cardigan
better.
that has a stitch pattern like that. This is an American designer, so it wouldn't work in that. But it's a very also simple sort of top-down raglan. And so I am swatching to make that out of, oh dear, Woodland.
Yarn.
Woodland is the name of the yarn. It is a wool nettle combination.
Ooh.
Yeah, so it's a little on the rough side, but I'm in the process of swatching, and that would be a bright blue cardigan.
Beautiful. I think that's going to be better than the purple you had thought of using.
Definitely.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I don't know what the purple you were thinking of using was, but that does look very good on you.
Yeah. So that's what I'm thinking of doing the street in. So I'm just swatching right now and hitting these guys in the face with my needles. So there you go. That's it. Next time I'm on, I hope to have gotten close to the end of my Lily Pilly. So
I'm doing the same thing. I'm not starting the next one until I finish my intersection. Because I think I need to have a goal, or it's just going to languish. Yeah. You know, like casting on new things.
She does bring me anxiety from time to time.
But you love me.
Yes. Oh, there's a sticker in there.
In fact, I'm feeling like I got too many things on the needle, but I'm swatching and things are...
Cool.
You know what ends up
Give
happening?
yourself anxiety. I don't have to give it to you.
No, but then what happens is one project will sort
Yeah.
of like bring my attention, and then that's the one that I will end up working on first.
Wow.
I did not get a lot done on this.
But it's still gorgeous.
That's where I was last week. Right there.
Hey, it's how many
So-
rows? That's quite a few rows.
Can
then.
we like show what's happening with this thing?
Yes.
It is.
And I'm really liking the fact that the orange is a lot more subtle than it looked in the skein. Because that looked like a really bright, insane
It's
orange.
not.
But it's mostly beiges and browns with little pops of
beautiful.
bright orange. So I'm really
It's-
enjoying what it's doing.
Wait, so where does that one start?
Right there.
Right there. It's gorgeous.
It
and
really
it really
blends.
blends in well with the other one.
Yeah.
It does.
You've done a really good
So
job
this is my
choosing.
Find Your Fade by Andrea Mowry, who is Drea Renee Knits. And I didn't make a lot of progress because I worked on this on Monday. And then I cast on a hat on Tuesday and worked on the hat almost exclusively. And then when I was finished the hat, I decided that I wanted to finish the baby sweater too. So I didn't pick this up again.
But I mean, the rows are getting longer, so even though
no, they're not.
Oh, they're not anymore.
No, I long ago reached the point where it stops getting wider.
Cool.
I still think you did a great job.
So, I love this pattern. I've actually got a couple more kitted up, and I'm very excited to knit more of these because I think I'm really going to like them. So this is the Cyborg Craft Room, a Sparkleate base in the Soulless colorway. Brandy, I've got the box all packed. I just need to put some tea in it. This is Brucey...
Because she's sending her the yarn.
Cattail Knits Brucey Sock Silver in the stunning Suki colorway. Yes.
Don't mail it yet.
Well, hurry up, because I was going to mail it this afternoon.
Okay, I'll mail it separately then.
Brandy, I think you've got a few packages.
Poor
coming
Brandy
your way.
has been waiting for this yarn since I finished that section.
I was shopping the other day and I saw a fabric that screamed you.
And I had that fiber. I bought her at Rhinebeck.
Ooh,
And I
think she's gonna
have
appreciate
that
it.
yarn. You remember that big D-stash Crystal did?
Yeah.
I've got that yarn, and I've
Wow.
got the minis. So, I mean, she's
Who
been
needs
waiting
to
a
order
long
online? Just wait for Lynn to send you a
time.
Merry Christmas, Brandy.
She's been waiting a long time for some of this stuff, like a year for some of it. So, yeah, she's getting her package.
Nice.
I put it all in the box this afternoon. I can't figure out what I did with the rest of these minis, though. I have a big Ziploc bag full of them, and I don't know where it is.
Okay.
Oh, I
because you
pulled a
gave-
stitch. No! Get back in there. Anyway,
Well, if you find them, you
You
can
were
add
on the
them to
second-
mine.
I was
you were
on
on
the
the
third
second-
one. I've
third
done
one?
the second one.
Okay.
So the third one is Lady Pearl. It was this lovely yellow, blue, and brown that Brandy had gifted me, actually. So that is a Lady Pearl sock in the For Amy colorway. I'm going to have to pull that stitch back in. Shoot. The fourth one is Bittersweet Woolery. Guilty Pleasures in the Harvest King colorway. And the fifth one is... Yeah, you did just copy paste from last week, so you don't have the fifth yarn in there either.
I copied from yours.
No, you didn't.
I swear I did.
You copied the extra one, but these are last week's.
Give up.
All right, ladies. All right,
Do you need
ladies.
to mark your stitch that you...
No.
Okay.
It's obvious. The fifth one is Woolen Vine, and I can't remember the base now, which is why I sent it to you. Actually, I have it
look
right
right
here.
there.
It's right on the screen here. It is Footsie Base in Beach Bum.
Sorry.
She copy-pasted from last week's show notes instead of from the email I sent her with the show notes.
I'm sorry.
And-
I was doing show notes at midnight. That's my excuse.
Hey, I emailed it to you at 5.
I know you did. But somebody else hadn't emailed me anything.
Look it! You don't need to do it all in one go.
I know.
So anyway, that's being done on size 5, US 5, which is a 3.75 millimeter. They are Addy lace turbos, and I don't like that.
Oh, really?
I don't like the join here. It's very, it yanks on the yarn, and it's hard to get it back up
and you can
over
even
the needle.
see it, that it's not as smooth as it could
Yeah,
be.
it's like there's a very definite jog there, and I don't like them. I when I did the swatch for the sweater on my Chow Goose, I was like, oh, this is so much better.
Yeah.
Do not like the Addies. But that's the only needle I had in this size, so I will finish this, and then I will buy a Chow Goose.
I'm
the
actually
next one of these, I
swatching this sweater on the carbons, which I was not very fond of, but today I seem to be liking them with this yarn.
Depends the yarn.
It
It
really
all depends
does.
because it's kind of grabby.
Yeah.
The needle.
Which could be good with a yarn that's super slippy.
Mm-hmm.
So
Anyway, we can move on. Oh, and that was in my Hawthorne Cottage Craft bag from Kate.
It's all
Thank
about you, Kate.
yay!
It is! And, you know, just to show you the size of this bag, this whole big thing fits in there. And I got 2 entire skeins of yarn in there, and 1 almost entire skein of yarn.
It's
in there.
huge.
So it's big enough to fit all that comfortably. And I can't button it down the front, but I can snap it closed.
But I love it. It's wide, so you're not going to have problems with your yarn coming out. I love it.
Yeah, so
what
she
did
has
you
an
make my
Etsy
Lena
shop,
thing?
if we happen to be enabling you.
Yes.
Although I don't know how many bags there are in there right now, but her bags are really, really lovely.
The average sized person can probably do a sweater in this.
Yeah, my sweater got a little bit too big, but if you were going to do like a fingering weight sweater or something like that, or DK, for sure.
It's beautiful.
Not sure if that's my cat or yours, so
Well, no.
I'll just leave it here. You can have my cat hair if it's not one of yours.
I feel like I've got cat hair going up my nose for some reason. So, is
Sure,
that
blame
it?
me.
Neo sleeps in here.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
But I'm also
And I
always
have
covered in
cats
cats
at home
so.
as well, but anyway.
Yeah, that was it for me.
And we are also, like, we've got yarn things flowing all over the place.
Because I had cast on another one, but it wasn't working, so I frogged it. You watched me do it.
What was that?
They watched me do it. You weren't paying
No.
attention. I had started a test knit that I was going to be doing,
Oh,
and it
that's
wasn't
right,
working,
yes,
so I took it apart.
Okay.
Which is why I'm not knitting. It's driving me a little batty.
All right. So that is what we're working on.
Lynn, you're up.
Oh, lucky me.
Oh my.
Stop watching podcasts.
You have been watching a lot.
I actually have one more than what's on there. Because, and I'll start with her, our friend Cheryl, Caw Creations, started a podcast.
Oh.
Her first episode went up this morning.
Well, I guess what I'm watching later.
Congratulations, Cheryl.
We were talking on Etsy actually, and she was like, I'm gonna mention because she was the first set of sock blockers we sold. So she said, I'm gonna mention the sock blockers on my podcast, and I'm like, well, I'll mention your podcast on our podcast.
That's how it works around here. Yep.
If you're looking for it on YouTube, Caw Creations, CAW Creations is all one word. Because if you look up CAW, you're going to get all kinds of weird wrestling crap.
Oh.
I don't even know what that refers to. But it's all wrestling stuff. I looked for
amateur wrestling? I don't know.
Maybe?
Oh, maybe.
I don't know. But I was like, oh, this is not what I'm looking for. So I actually looked up her name, and that's how it popped up.
We will link it in the show notes.
But yes, it will be linked, and her first episode is up.
I'm so
She's already more pro than us, because she's got a little intro and a little outro and the whole bit. So, yeah.
An intro and an outro.
Yes, I'm coining words, I know.
I know.
Actually, I think the word outro is in existence in that context, but I don't know that it's an actual word. I think people just kind
Normally
of
it would be conclusion.
But not for a video.
Not for video, lady.
Really?
Yeah.
Get with the times.
Obviously, I'm not with the times.
She has end credits. Okay, happy?
Cool.
We have end credits. They're just in a picture.
Yeah, but we don't have music and all kinds of production value types.
Excuse me.
So anyway, I watched her and she was really cute. So I watched that this morning. And then I put these in reverse order actually. The first one I found was the Cherry Heart podcast with Sandra. There does not seem to be a group on Ravelry.
But she's on YouTube.
She is on YouTube. She is Cherry Heart on Ravelry. No, there must have been a Ravelry group. I'm sorry. Never mind. It took me a while to find it. Because it's not called Cherry Heart Podcast. Mm-hmm. It's called Cherry Heart something else. So I did find it, but yeah, it took me a while. It's Knitography that doesn't have a Ravelry presence. Mm-hmm. Sorry. So I watched her and she was a lot of fun. She's British and she knits some lovely things. And I really liked her podcast. Then I watched, and I felt like I'd been living under a rock.
Oh, like Ruth?
Yeah. I giggled like a schoolgirl watching Ruth yesterday.
Because Lynn was mentioned multiple times.
I was like, yay, somebody knows who I am.
And she said she thinks she was living under a rock because she didn't know about us.
Oh, okay.
I found an Ottawa podcaster that I had never heard of. I've never met this woman in Knit Night.
I've been watching her since the beginning.
She's mentioned it on the podcast.
And I know, and I clearly was not paying attention because I started watching the Gentle Knitter podcast, who is Nicole, and she used to be Coco Knits, and that's why I didn't recognize her, because I know Coco Knits.
Oh.
But she changed her name because there was a company called Coco Knits, so she changed her Ravelry name to reflect her podcast, and that's why I had no idea who she was, because I was like, I've never heard of this Gentle Knitter person, but I knew who Coco Knits was. So I felt kind of stupid when I realized. Because when I saw her avatar, I was like, I know that person. Mm. But when I watched her podcast, I was like, no idea, no clue. No idea who this is. I'm a little slow sometimes.
She's got a lovely podcast.
She does.
Very nice podcast. And she's a very interesting knitter. It knits with a lot of interesting fibers.
Yes. Very into more natural things and approaches to doing things. Mm-hmm. And through her, and this one I enjoyed even more, I actually liked her a whole lot. And I went back and watched all of hers, was the Ninja Chickens podcast with Maria. She mentioned her actually in her most recent episode. Nicole did. And I immediately went over to watch it because it's a knitting and homesteading podcast, which is like...
Oh! I need to watch that.
So much.
I love homesteading shows. Love them.
Me too. She's a... I believe she was a nurse and a herbalist.
Ooh.
And she gives tea recipes at the end of her episodes. So I really enjoyed her podcast as well. Plus we got to meet some of her chickens. And it's a snow day. You don't like it. It's mint.
I like the smell.
Okay. I was like, don't drink it. It's mint.
I'm not going to drink from her cup.
Well, I don't know.
I really wouldn't care.
I know you would.
I was going to say, you guys share everything else, so.
Don't we?
I was coming in and Sue goes, hurry up, we're butt to butt. And I'm like, like it's anything I haven't seen before.
We both leaned over the opposite ways and cheers.
All right. And the next one, my dear?
And the last one was, no, Knitterarium's yours.
Knitography.
Yes. I watched the Knitography vlog. It's a short 10-minute vlog that she does on a weekly basis. She is, I believe, an American living in Norway.
I met her at Edinburgh Yarn Festival.
Oh, well, look at that.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I just found
I haven't
her...
had a chance to watch her podcast.
Was she at the podcast lounge?
Yeah. And
That's
she was
hilarious.
hanging out with Kate, and she and Kate were friends, and yeah, I was hanging out with her and Kate and Tilly Trout.
That's hilarious. I just found her like that on YouTube yesterday. And I watched the first one, and I will admit there's no knitting in the first one. Well, the most recent one. There's no knitting content whatsoever. But, oh my god. I need to go back and watch all of them from the beginning. Because this entire vlog was just her taking a walk near where she lives. I'm so envious. They live on a little farm in Norway, in the mountains. And they have a cabin on the edge of a fjord. About 2 hours away.
What's a fjord?
A river.
Okay.
Well, it's sort of like the river that goes in.
It's a
land,
valley river sort
kind
of
of thing that
yes.
comes in from the ocean towards the land.
Yes. She knows better than I do.
Something like that.
But, so she starts out at her cabin and she's taking a walk up to the top of this big hill.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like bits of scenery and stuff. Because it's a geography and knitting and her life in general vlog. So she's showing us the scenery around where the cabin is. And then from the top of the hill, you get to see like the whole fjord valley and everything. And then she goes back down, shows you the cabin and where they live and blah, blah, blah. And then it pauses and she drives home, which is 2 hours away. And then she's showing you the farm. And they only get like 3-4 hours of daylight
Yeah.
at this time of year.
Mm-hmm.
So she's like really up there. She says the sun comes up around 11-ish and it goes down about 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the north. It's the
3
same here.
3 in the afternoon. And so she's showing us what it looks like where she lives in the dark. And it's amazing. Like just seeing the outlines of the buildings and the snow was falling and it was just really cool. And then she shows us the farm in the daytime and all of the surrounding area and stuff.
So really, you've got to get everything you need done in that 4 hours.
Well, everything's
Like
open.
that,
You're just in the dark.
I don't know.
She was saying, she says, I need to get outside when the sun comes up because
Absolutely.
I want to be outside.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be outside in the dark.
But at this time of the year, that's at Christmas, at the shortest day of the year.
Yeah.
At this point, they're probably more like, 9 to 4:30 or 5 kind of thing.
Yeah,
I mean,
because that was her first one that she did right after the New Year.
Yeah, exactly.
So now she's probably getting 7-8 hours of
and
light
then
a
in
day.
the summer, they don't
It's
get a
all
lot
light.
of darkness at all. Yeah, that's like in Finland as well.
And Alaska and all those very, very north places.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was a very cool vlog and I really enjoyed it. And it's a lot more artistic than it is knit-centered. But I really, really enjoyed it. And I thought that maybe some other people would enjoy watching it too.
I'm hoping to watch it just because it was really a pleasure to meet Patricia.
That's such a weird coincidence.
I know. And she's absolutely lovely person. So I'm glad you're reminding me because I'm going to want to go and watch. She's P4Chen on Instagram and Ravelry.
Okay, that's why I couldn't find her.
Mm-hmm. P, the letter P, the number 4, and then Chen.
She does have a website, but it's just a one-page sort of thing. It's not there's no blog or anything on there.
And you watched something new this week.
Yeah, I watched Knitterarium, sorry, with Ruth because she had mentioned it last week.
Yeah, that's my fault.
Yep.
And I actually watched a new one. Somebody that I hung out with at EYF as well. She's from Sweden. Her name is Anna, and she's got a new podcast called Yarn at Sea. And I watched that this week, which was really fun. It's really fun when you've met people and then you see them, or you've been seeing them and then you meet them. It's nice to be able to add that extra dimension. It's fun. Mm-hmm. Actually, Nicole from the Gentle Knitter was at Rhinebeck as well, but you wouldn't have known who she was at that point. So maybe we'll see her next year.
I'm also really bad with faces, so a lot of times Sue will go, "Oh well, you met this person there, and there," and I'm like, "Okay," because I will not remember their faces.
If she recognizes you, feel special.
Well, I mean, I get used to people after a while. Like Paula, I can pick out of a crowd, no problem.
Yeah.
Even before she says anything. Because her voice is very distinctive. But even before she says anything, I recognize her right away. I can just about do that with Boston Jen.
Okay.
But I do confuse her with a couple of other people.
It's the dark hair,
that she looks a lot like, and very tall people. So, like, if you have similar physical features to another person, I will confuse you for years. I have actually close friends that I confused for a very long time. Fiona and Amanda at Knit Night.
Oh, yes.
It took me about a year before I could tell the difference.
Yeah. And if they're sitting beside each other like they did a lot,
that makes it easier. Because I can sit...
Then you can start
I
distinguishing
had the
features.
same problem with Miriam and Kim for the longest time.
yeah.
And like, people get offended because they think that I just don't care. I honestly can't see the difference. It's there's a word for it, and it's a very long word, and I keep forgetting it, but it's true face blindness. Unless you have a distinguishing feature or I see you frequently, I'm not going to remember your face, and it's nothing personal. I can't. And I also have a lot of trouble recognizing people out of context. So
You're like your own relatives.
yeah. Sue and I went to a hardware store, and my uncle happened to be, he works there. I didn't know he worked there, but he works there. And so we're walking out of the store, and this older gentleman says, hi. And I thought he was just being friendly. So I was like, hi. And I walked by. And it wasn't until after, I think it was the second time we went to the store, that I'm like, that's my uncle. I've known him all my life. But he's out of context. He's not where he's not where I would normally see him.
Mm-hmm.
I once ran into a professor of mine at the grocery store. I was currently taking her class 2 days a week, and I didn't recognize. I was walking through the whole grocery store going to my ex, because my ex and I do groceries together. I was like, I know that lady from somewhere. I don't know where, but I know her from somewhere. Saw her in class the next night.
The lady with the shoes? No. That wasn't the teacher with the high heels?
No.
Okay.
Oh no, completely different teacher.
Okay.
No, it's frustrating as hell because people will walk up to me and be all hurt, like, what, you didn't remember me? And I'm like, it's not my fault. It's a thing. Something in my brain doesn't work.
Mm-hmm. And you had some other mentions?
Yes.
Oh.
We already talked about the marbles. The marbles, the nice thing about the marbles, because Stephanie sent these to me to review, so I wanted to review them.
Can I see them?
Yes, you may. I gave a set to Teresa last night to try out because she was like, they're really pretty.
Mm-hmm.
They don't stick like plastic needles normally stick. I was knitting on
Really
those
nice.
with acrylic,
Oh.
and they weren't sticking. They weren't squeaking. They were fantastic. They're just like knitting with metal needles, and for plastic needles, they are surprisingly pointy. Not very flexible. Like they're
very stiff.
they're not bendy like plastic needles usually are, and they were so nice to knit with.
And they're really pretty.
Yeah, your stitches will not slide around, but they won't be hard to move either. They're really, really nice needles for plastic. And they're so pretty.
Oh, the green ones are even nicer.
Yes, they were, but those are the ones I passed to Teresa. So she was like, if you need them before I get around to it, let me know. But yeah. So I want to buy more of these because they're amazing.
Cool. You also
I
wanted
really
to talk
like
about the Knitability magazine?
Yes. The Bakery Bears put out a podcast a couple of days ago. And they announced first of all, they announced that they're no longer going to go be doing a Places We Like to Knit
Oh, okay.
segment. I'm very sad because that was one of my favorite parts.
And it's interesting.
Yes. Because these are places I will never get to visit.
Yeah.
So they're not going to be doing the knitting at ruins and castles and stately homes and all that stuff anymore. Well, I'm sure they'll still be doing it, but they're not going to be showing it on the podcast anymore. But they are debuting something really, really special. For their Patreon patrons, they are and I tried to sign up and I can't because there's no credit card assigned to my PayPal account. Patreon will not take debit through
My bank is like my actual
yeah, so is mine, but Patreon doesn't accept that.
Oh,
So-
Patreon. Okay.
Yeah, not PayPal. Patreon won't accept just the bank account attached to your PayPal account.
Okay.
They require a credit card. So I tried to sign up for it, but I can't. But for their Patreon patrons, they have a new magazine that they're going to be putting out every 6 weeks. It's an e-zine because they'll be emailing it to you. And it's called Knitability. And they're going to have
That's really cool.
guest designers and columnists and all kinds of articles and stuff like that. So they're going to have a lot of really interesting content in that. And they that's their new thing that they just released. So I was very excited about that.
Congratulations to them.
So, what is Patreon?
It's a system where you can donate a small amount of money per month to an artist or a creator that you want to support.
Okay.
I have cartoonist friends who have Patreon set up where people send them like 50 cents, $1 a month.
But if you have enough people.
But if enough people do it, it's a nice little bit of income. And when you create for a living, that's important. Yeah. Because you don't make a lot of money creating for a living. No. Unless, you're like J-Lo or Beyonce.
I'd never heard of it, so that's really cool.
I had heard of it on the Knit Girls, but I didn't know what the concept was.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what Patreon is, and that's all I had to say.
It's kind of cool. Very cool. So a little bit of Cal talk. We're coming in to the end of the first quarter of our Around the World by Design Cal. And again, we were in Oceania this time around. We've got about 50 finished projects in there. And it's finishing on the last day of March, so get your projects in if you haven't yet, and then you can join us in Europe
for the next. March is next Friday.
Next Friday, okay.
March 31st.
And we haven't actually announced the prize for the first quarter, so it's right there.
Orange things.
This, sorry. Mm-hmm. Sorry, it's stuck.
And yep. So there is going to be, it's kind of an orange theme, it seems, this time. There is a skein, which is a little bit beat up because it's come with me all the way from Scotland. I bought this at EYF. This is a Cambrian wool from the flocks of Wales. And I bought myself, which I'll be showing you a little later, a skein in yellow. And there is a pattern that comes with this, so I'll be sending that along as well for fingerless mitts.
I wonder how you pronounce that.
The Glon. I have no idea how you pronounce that. Does anybody know how you pronounce that?
Anybody who speaks Gaelic or it almost looks like Welsh.
Well, this is from Wales. This is
anybody who speaks Welsh, help us out.
Yeah, this is from Welsh mountain sheep, which they were saying that people don't usually appreciate as wool making fiber. But I really loved this and ended up buying just the one skein because, well, I had a whole plan at EYF and this was allowed to come back as a random skein. So anyway, I'm going to be donating this for the prize along with the lovely owl card that I had received from Marion of the Fairy Fort. And so this is, I had gotten a couple of prints from her and this is going to be included in the prize. And this will all be in a bag, one of my bags from Little Creek Designs. So that is going to be there. It's got a little yellow on the inside. Bright and sunny for a very sunny continent. So that is the prize. So if you haven't finished your project, get it in by Friday night of next week. And then we'll be drawing, you can draw next weekend. Mm-hmm. And then we'll be moving on to Europe. So join us for that. We're not going to open up a new chat thread. The chat thread will continue. But there'll be a new FO thread for Europe. Right? Mm-hmm. So there you go.
It's already up. It's just locked.
There you go. And then we've got...
So how many projects are finished in the travel?
I already said we've got about finished.
Okay.
50 finished projects.
Pay attention, lady.
Here we go.
You're getting a little snippy over there.
I am. I've been snarky all day.
Corner.
I've been snarky all day. I had
we're
a
going to
bad
settle
morning.
into her corner.
Yeah, I am in my corner.
And then we've got the Brown Bag Sock Club, which is also coming to an end on March 31st, the first quarter. And this was the prize, which was Mint Rain hand-dyed yarns in the Rose Tyler colorway.
Oh!
Isn't that?
It's Doctor Who yarn.
Beautiful. With
I didn't know it was Doctor Who yarn.
Mushroom stitch markers.
From Seattle Sky Dye
From
Works.
Seattle Sky Dye Works in the blue mushroom. They're so adorable.
They are.
So that is the prize, and there'll be a drawing for that next weekend as well. So get your socks in, people. Right now, there are 175 socks.
Pairs,
yes. That makes double
actual
the number of
projects.
Yeah, and actual entries, because as you had mentioned, sometimes there are two. And there you go. So thank you for participating in both of those CALs. And we'll keep on in the next quarter. Flash.
Now it's your turn.
You
No,
start.
you
No,
start,
you
lady.
start.
Oh, okay,
Okay,
fine. We're going to let her go
okay.
last so she can just keep going.
Yeah, this is going to be long. It's going to be a longie today.
Going to
people.
be long? We've already been talking for an hour.
Oh dear. Okay, sorry.
All right, so I didn't think I had any physical stash, but I do. So
Surprise!
Sue made me this little drawstring bag, exploding TARDIS. And was that the yellow that I had bought for the sunflowers?
Yes.
Okay.
Which I don't have any more of.
Yeah. It was yellow, just yellow mottled fabric that I bought at Joann's.
Yep.
And it's a little drawstring, and it's perfect for a pair of socks. So, I got that.
And
then
FYI,
Selma.
there might be one or two going on the shop.
Selma brought home prezzies.
Mm-hmm.
So I got this lovely wool. It's New Lanark Mills Aran weight. It's 90% wool, 10% silk.
Ooh.
And the colorway is Blue Lovage,
Honestly, I
which makes
regretted
me
not buying
wonder if that's what it was dyed with. I don't know what color Lovage gives. And it's from New Lanark in South Lanarkshire in Scotland.
Yeah, I have to say, the colors were so nice. I really regretted not buying more. But that's okay.
It's very pretty. It's a very I don't know how to say it. It's a heathered, but it's got a lot of different colors in it. Because I mean, you see that little pop of yellow there, and there's some of that throughout the yarn, and the blues and the greens, and it's very pretty.
It's
And a little spot of red that I don't think belongs there.
Showed up from somewhere.
I think that came off my bag. And there's this lovely mug that she got from A Needle Filter.
Yeah, that was at EYF, Eileen Clark Crafts.
And this is her business card. That's one side of it.
She does a lot of needle felting.
This is her business information. So that was very pretty. Now I have another sheep mug Sue can't have. And I also...
Okay.
I got my tax refund this week, so I splurged a little bit.
Yay.
And I bought myself 2 craftsy classes.
Ooh.
Awesome.
I bought Foundations of Spinning by Amy King and Drafting from Worsted to Woolen by J.C. Boggs Faulkner. Because I've been itching to get my wheel out of the closet. Get rid of the crap that's on it right now.
See, if it were me, snip.
No, I would like to ply it just to learn how to ply.
Yeah.
I don't want to waste it. If it can serve a purpose, like I'm probably never going to use
This
it.
is like way back Millie. If you've been around for a long enough time. That's pre-Millie?
Some of it is Millie, but some of it is this this stuff that I had bought. It was felting wool, but that's what they were using to teach us to spin in that class. And I spun up the whole thing. So
Millie is a fleece that has
Millie's
been handed
part
through
of it.
From Carrie to
No, I bought Millie.
For her?
Nope.
Oh no, she used some and tried to spin it and...
I bought Millie.
Sorry, I'm confused.
From my friend Denise, who had bought the fleece and didn't like the color of it. And so I have now carded about half of Millie. Because Millie was just a raw... Well, she was washed, but she was a raw fleece. And it was just a big bag of fleece. So I have since carded about half of her. And I've spun 3 bobbins of part Millie and part this felting wool that we were taught to spin on. So I have 3 bobbins of this white stuff.
Oh, you can very easily ply.
Yeah, except I've lost the little caps for the lazy gate to keep the bobbin on there. So I'm going to
I
have to do it slowly.
I use a shoebox.
Yeah, I do have a lazy Kate that came with my wheel, so I don't have to worry about it. But I only have 4 bobbins, so I haven't spun anything since then. And that was about, 2 years ago? I haven't spun anything since then because those 3 bobbins were taken up with this stuff that I'm never going to use, but I wanted to learn to ply, so I just haven't touched it because I've been too scared.
Is there a shaft that sticks out of the bobbin?
Yeah.
Okay, because...
But that's why I'm saying I lost the little caps that keep the bobbin on there.
I might have something that will work. Cool.
So anyway, the last couple of days I've really been itching to pull the wheel out, get rid of that stuff, and start spinning it because I have a lot of fiber. Like, a lot of fiber.
Almost all the sheets.
Almost all the sheeps. And that's just the undyed stuff. I also have a lot of dyed braids.
And you've got that beautiful fondant fiber stuff recently.
That's not being touched until I'm
until
better
you're
at
good,
this.
yeah.
So Jen was like, you need to pull the wheel out because I need to see you spin that fondant fiber. And I'm like, well, you better be patient because that's nice stuff and it's going to wait a while. The first one I actually want to get started on is my Oink Pigments fiber that I bought at Stitches last year.
Yes.
Sue's envious because it's green.
I was broke.
It's her green.
Well, I could have bought it, but I didn't.
I was broke. Rob bought it for me.
That's right.
So yes, that's what I want to start with because it's
need
not super really really nice fiber. It's a gorgeous color, but I won't feel bad if it's not perfect yarn at the end of it. There are braids that I would feel bad if I messed them up.
I still have my first two.
Yeah. So I will. Well, yeah, but I don't intend on using the Millie that I
my first
ply up.
My first white one, no, that was the Corriedale. I'm not gonna. Well, I was told I could pass it through the spinner again, like the twist or whatever.
Yeah,
but we'll see.
So my wheel will likely be making an appearance probably in the next couple of weeks because I did buy those 2 craftsy glasses.
That's awesome.
And I also bought a couple of patterns. Well, I bought a pattern. The other one was gifted to me. Yesterday, Kat Bordy on Facebook announced that she was releasing a new pattern. And I saw the picture and went, oh, buy. So I bought it. And then she emailed me.
Ooh.
Kat Bordy emailed me.
You saved it, right?
Fangirl.
Of course I saved it. Kat Bordy emailed me saying, I'm so glad that you like the pattern and I'm really glad that you're planning on knitting it up, blah, blah, blah. And I emailed her back and then she replied. Kat Bordy and I are Facebook friends.
Yes. That's kind
but
of cool.
I'd never had any personal interaction with her and it was just like, Kat Bordy emailed me. Like personally, it wasn't just the your pattern is ready for download thing.
Just a little
She
fan
emailed
girl.
me.
Just a little.
Just a little.
That's what fangirling looks like.
Not when Sue does it. It's a lot louder and more high pitched when Sue does it.
It was Laura. Leave me alone.
It wasn't just Laura. You did it to Isolde and you did it to Stephanie.
All right.
So anyway, that's my stat. Oh, and there's I'll let you talk about the progression shawl.
Okay.
Because we all got that.
We were all gifted a pattern.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll let Sue go into it.
Me. So.
It's always a bit
Do you want to
weird.
start with progression shawl since it's already being spoken about?
Yes.
And you have it like queued up and everything.
I did. I put it on the tablet, which should be charged now.
There it is. That's not what we call queued up, lady.
It's because the Messenger
I
app
know.
opens
I
all the
know.
time, and I don't know why.
Every time I try to open something on my phone and have it ready, like when I tried to do the sound effects, I had to forget it.
So this is the progression shawl by Karen Risinger, or Risinger. I'm not sure how you. We're getting like there.
It's really lovely.
And she is Alcariel, so Alcariel on Ravelry, and she's also the host of Round the Twist podcast, who's been around almost as long as the Knit Girls.
That's longer than us, by the way.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And so, what's the name of the person who Twisted
Pearl.
Yeah.
on Ravelry gifted it to us.
Thank you.
Twisting and Pearl, sorry.
Twisting and Pearl, because Karen is going through some vet bills and issues with the puppies, which I love those puppies. They're so cute. So she gifted the 3 of us to help her out. And I've decided I'm going to gift 2 copies. I haven't figured out how I'm going to do the choosing. But yeah, so
Basically, go check out Karen's designs and see if there's one you would like, because it would really help her out.
Yeah, they would.
And it's Karen, Carin,
Yes.
and we'll put it in the show notes,
We'll do the thing.
because we're not going to do the thing here because we're already at an hour and a quarter.
Yep. And I've got a few patterns. This one I don't know the designer. The reason I don't know it is because if I don't like the way a pattern looks, I copy and paste it into Word and make it look the way I like it. And I forgot to put the designer. So it's basically a big squishy cowl.
And a Mobius, it looks like.
No, not Mobius.
No?
Come on, focus. There we
Oh,
go.
no. Just
No,
in the other
it's not
picture, it looked
Mobius.
like it was twisted, but maybe
Yeah.
it's not.
No. And so I got that because I'm probably going to be making that for my daughter.
What's it called?
Infinity scarf. Sorry. just infinity scarf. And I tried looking for the designer, but if you put infinity scarf in Ravelry, it's not going to work.
You're a bad podcaster.
I did try. I went through like 4 pages and it said I give up because the pattern is saved at work.
But you don't remember where you... Oh, okay, you saved it at work. She'll put it in the show notes after she gets back to work on Monday.
I will. And for the second quarter of our Travel the World by Design cowl, not cowl, I chose a pattern by Melanie Berg. And the reason I wanted to knit this anyway, and the reason I did do it is because Sam of Hand Me My Knitting is doing a Melanie Berg knit along.
She's going to double dip.
Yeah, so this is the Decemberist. Isn't that gorgeous?
Yeah, and it's a bulky shawl, right?
Yes.
Beautiful.
And I have stuff in my stash that was gifted to me quite a while ago by a friend, and now it's found a purpose. So that's what it looks like. And then I've had these 2 patterns for a while, and I'm going to talk about the stash, the yarn at the same time, which is what Selma gave me.
That's her Prezi from...
That was my
Edinburgh.
Prezi. And it is Eden Cottage Yarns, and it is in the Oakworth DK Woodland colorway. And I have these 2 patterns, and I'm having a hard time choosing which one I want to make. This one was the first one I showed Selma, and she thought it was gorgeous.
Here, I'll take this. Let me see that one. Mm-hmm. Do that one.
Apparently I'm doing this one.
Problem solved.
You guys just telling me what to do?
Yep.
And what else did I get?
Certainly makes your life easier, doesn't it?
I got my fondant fiber order, and she put in some Inferno Poonies, which I will use for one of my drop spindles.
Great color.
And
The tea is lovely, by the way.
it's mint tea, so somebody else can have it.
Okay. Well, I already got one, so would you like it, Selma?
Sure. I'm not going to say no.
And
I
then,
drink a lot of tea.
you know that fiber I ordered while we were podcasting?
Let's crinkle after the episode.
Yeah, it came, and so I have the caramel one, like Lynn.
The salted caramel that I bought. Yes.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And then I was hemming and hawing about
touch it.
putting this in my cart while my husband was standing there. And she's like, do it.
Her husband is standing right there, and he just looks at me like...
That is really stunning.
And look at that. Isn't that stunning?
It's really stunning.
It reminds me of wooden hearts.
I got a sample of that with blue flecks in it. It's so pretty.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I got a sample of the blue too. In
And
my
her
other package.
fiber is so dirt cheap. You should go on her website. Might encourage you to use that spindle.
I still have the stuff that you gave me that I gotta try first.
Oh, and then Selma got me this magnet, which I've left in the package. It says, "You brighten my day."
Aww.
If we had more metal on our office walls at work, I could put it at work, but I can't. And I went fabric shopping.
If you follow her on Etsy, you've already seen most of this.
Etsy?
On Instagram.
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 Shut up. I knew what I was doing.
So that's one.
No, I can't talk.
And these are most likely going to be wedge bags.
They're super pretty, very heavy fabric.
It's sort of upholstery fabric.
Yep.
You went to Pocket, didn't you?
Yeah. I went downstairs and got the 50% off stuff. Like, all these things were like $5. And then I saw this and I texted her and she hadn't answered me, and I'm like, screw it. Oops, sorry. It's birds.
It's very Selma.
And so,
It's lovely.
you know, the flowers were, I had you in mind, but it'll be one for the shop, same as the birds.
You know, if I'm really, really honest, I like that one better.
No, you're not getting this one.
Oh.
Oh, wait, no.
I
No, there's enough for 2. It's folded. So, I will be able to make you a wedge bag, Lynn. And then I saw this and I was just like, oh my
That's
god,
really gorgeous.
I have to have it, and I have to have it now.
It's almost Liberty fabric like. It's beautiful.
I just love it, and it's almost a full meter.
Mm-hmm.
I always go downstairs because a lot of their cotton bolts are 50% off. So, and these are the ones that are for like the interior,
insides.
the interiors, which
I think I have that darker yellow at my mom's house.
Which are quite lovely. And then I was talking Facebook messaging with my friend Leanne, who is the Etsy shop owner of Owls on Dante's, and there was one fabric I was showing her pictures, and she's like, "Oh, I really like that one." I'm like, "Oh, it's flannel." I said, "Would you use a flannel bag?" And she's like, "No." And then I saw this. So now I'm teasing her because I'm plotting something for her, and I basically wanted a meter, and there was like 0.6 of a meter left on the bolt, and I'm like, I'll take it all. Sold. So, and this could also do some inside fabrics.
Yeah,
fiber
for sure.
fabrics. And that's it. I'm done.
Now it's the Selma show.
Wait, no, I'm not done.
Hurry up.
My father gave me something this week, and if you know me, this is me.
Okay, now to show you context, that's the mug Selma bought me.
Just so you know, I got Lynn like a super mini like espresso mug.
No, because this is Selma's Starbucks mug,
which I'll be talking about in a minute.
So now I'm done.
So
her father clearly knows her.
Edinburgh Yarn Festival. My trip to Scotland was really wonderful. We got there and on the Thursday, and the Edinburgh Yarn Festival was on the Friday. Thursday night was the knit night. And you know what? A lot of podcasters have done wonderful vlogs.
You left on the Wednesday night.
Mm-hmm. You always arrive the next day because they're ahead,
yes.
right? So there are podcasters who have wonderful vlogs. There is Vero from Along the Blaines who did a great vlog, and Fruity Knitting Podcast did a really nice vlog of inside and talking to different vendors, and then there are other people. Kristen also had some snippets, and Katie from Inside 23
So if
as
you
well.
want a view of EYF, there's many sources.
Yeah. It was a very intense experience, I'm going to tell you that. It was very busy and a lot of people, and it's really tough because kind of like at Rhinebeck too, it's balancing between meeting all the people you want to meet,
and you were meeting a lot of people,
buying all the yarn you want to buy,
and seeing all the stuff you want to see.
Seeing all the stuff you want to see. I was there for the 2 days, but it was exhausting. And wonderful and
she
overwhelming.
Did have some fun, clearly, if you look at Instagram.
Oh, I did. I met lovely, lovely, lovely people.
The picture of the yarn turbines is the best.
And that was with Andrea from Fruity Knitting and Tilly from the Tilly Trout podcast. And it was just great meeting them. Such lovely people. And I mean, what can I say? It was so nice to meet so many people. I met Eric from A Sticks Plus Twine and Vero, and so we had a Canadian podcaster's picture. It was really nice to see all these people. We also went to a Kaylee on the Friday night, not the Kaylee because that one sold out.
That's the one that Shamika went to, the big one.
No, Shamika didn't. She came to ours because then there was kind of, I think they called it the Rebel Kaylee. So a few, Grace of the Babbles Traveling Podcast, who is our Irish dynamo. She is an event organizer at heart, and she organized this secondary Kaylee, and there were about 30 of us that went to it. Shamika and I were at that. Kristen of Woollenvine was at it. Andrea and Andrew from the Fruity Knitting Podcast. Tilly Trout was there. Ellie of Skein Deer. A whole bunch of people. It was really, really, and it was in a beautiful setting. The Fruity Knitting Podcast show that as well. We had great food. We danced. But we were all kind of like, oh dear, we've got to get a good night's sleep because Saturday's another day at EYF. So it was just a lot of fun. A couple of wonderful people. Everybody, it was so nice to meet everybody. Jo, who is a watcher of our podcast and comments almost every week in our. She's Go Jo 63. I saw her there. And she actually gave me the mug that I'm drinking out of. She is from Belfast, and so she brought me a Belfast Starbucks mug.
It's kind of awesome.
It was so nice to meet you, Jo. And there were some other Irish people there. This is Knits. No, I don't remember. I think your name was Nadia, who watched the podcast and I don't really know why we have so many Irish people watching.
Isn't it lovely to go so far away and people just know you and want to meet you?
It was very nice. And there were so many people I wanted to meet. And I actually met Jo on the first day, and she said, you looked so overwhelmed. And I actually, I didn't realize till about an hour later, wait, that's Gojo. Wait. So the next day I was looking for her. And then she gave me this gift, as well as a tea towel, the mug, and a wonderful Irish tea towel.
Look at that.
With sheep. And sort of a small skein of fine fish yarn. So this is
that's adorable.
Isn't that cute? It's a 50-gram one.
I love the packaging.
It's adorable. It's in the Serene colorway. Thank you so much, Jo. Then the other lovely Irish person that I was chatting with is Kate Hawthorne Cottage Crafts, who's now got her own podcast as well, and it was such a pleasure to hang out at EYF. And she brought me 2 skeins of a stunning
Sorry,
pair.
I'm swooning over
I kind of
here.
want to touch that.
You can.
I kind of want both of them because it's
I just want to touch it.
merino
dyer.
wool silk blend, and it's Ellie and Ada. And
I need that yarn. I can't break my diet. I must not break my
And
diet.
you know, it was funny because when she gave it to me at EYF, I thought this was almost black, but it's actually like a really deep, deep blue. And this is definitely becoming...
And she was like, single skeins. I'm like, put them together and make a shawl.
Oh, definitely.
Mm-hmm. Does she know your color palette or what?
Perhaps a little bit. I had a plan when I went to EYF. I wanted to get at least 2 sweater quantities for specific sweaters. I knew I was getting Isolde's #1, the blend #1, and I just made a beeline for that.
Sweater quantity?
Yep.
Okay.
And my other thing was that I wanted to buy green yarn, which I did not in the end find. I find green a really hard one to find the right... Yeah, that was pretty... Yeah. And then if I was going to buy random skeins, I wanted them to be either DK or worsted. So I did not buy any fingering weight yarn. And it was interesting. One thing that I noticed was that they didn't have a lot of sock yarn, like an 80-20 kind of blend. It was a lot of fingering, but they were all wools or wool silk or wool alpaca blends. So more sweater or lace work type of yarns. Not a lot of sock yarn. I think the sock yarn craze may be more of a North American thing. I don't know.
We are pretty obsessive.
We are. Everybody loves La Bien Aimée, which has beautiful variegated and speckled yarns. But
I love the colorway name on that one.
Yeah, this is Calligraphy Ink, and this one is Hydrangea. They're really pretty. So beautiful together. But yeah, and what I really wanted was different kinds of fibers. So the first thing I got, as I said, was a sweater's quantity of Isolde's. I just went, whoops, sorry, out of focus. I went straight there. Isolde was there, so I got a chance to talk to her.
And I bet you didn't freak her out like Sue did.
I did not yell. I really
We ran into her right as we were entering the gate at Rhinebeck, not 2-3 years ago. Anyway, she was standing right there as we were coming through the gate. And Sue just looked at her and went, "It's you!" And she was like, "Yep."
So that was the beginning of my, fangirling. I'm better now, I'd like to say.
I have to say, I don't know. I just figure everybody's just an ordinary human being doing fabulous things. So I did talk to her and just told her that I had just finished. Well, she was at the cache actually. So I told her that I had just finished her Stack Hawaii shawl and how to pronounce it, and she thought it was pronounced Stack Hawaii, but she wasn't 100% sure. And just told her that I really enjoyed the pattern and such. But so I got a sweater quantity of this, and this is to make the Branches and Buds sweater from the First Making magazine, which had color work here. And so I then stopped at Eden Cottage Yarns, the same company as the yarn that I bought for Sue. I love her colorways. I follow her on Instagram and swoon every picture she posts.
Yeah, Knitterarium uses her a lot in her designs too.
And so I bought
she the
this.
book that everything was for you?
Yes. So I ended up buying this to go with this. because I want my branches and buds to be light in the body and darker here, but I really wanted something kind of light and subtle. That sweater, most people are doing a dark in the body and light in the color work. And I wanted it to be opposite because the two color works that I've done so far have been dark bodies with light color work. So I wanted it to be different. So
and no, those aren't your colors at all.
Not at all. So this is Oakworth DK from Eden Cottage Yarns, and it's just a lovely blue. And as I said, if I had broken my plan and bought fingering weight yarn, it would have been an Eden Cottage.
That's a lot of yardage for sport.
It is.
Yeah.
We won't even talk about how much.
Well, they're very
cost.
tight skeins too.
True.
Eden Cottage Yarns, in my view, her palette is perfect. She has the most incredible colorways, and I was shopping with my friend Dana, which was wonderful because we got to hang out all the time. And Dan and I were there, and she was like, "Every single color here is your color." And I'm like, "I'm going to be here for 2 hours trying to figure out what to get." And it's out of my plan, so I'm not buying any. The only one I bought was this for me, and the other one for Sue. But I definitely will at some point. Like, her colors are so incredible, and she has very interesting bases as well. Her BFL I really liked a lot.
I have to admit, this is one wool I've never heard of.
Zwartbulls.
Yeah, it's Merino Polworth and Zwartbulls. Like
He must
Zwartbles.
Sounds like a very funny sheep.
But it's really soft.
Yeah. Now, somebody told me that this tends to shed a lot in the beginning. So I'm going to expect that, but
Well, if you go in knowing you're okay, you know.
Mm-hmm. So I wanted to start this right away. Then I got thrown off because we were going to Europe next, and this pattern is an American designer. But if I don't go with the Ruta cardigan, I might just go ahead and start this. We'll see.
You have time to do both.
I just want to knit all the things. Do you go through these periods where you're practically manic with like just ideas going through your head? That's what's happening to me
That's
right
what
now.
it's like for the rest of us all the time.
Yeah.
Sally.
I was going to say.
When we're stressing you out, that's what's going through our minds.
The other single skein that I bought from Eden Cottage is this Langdale Superwash Aran in the Thunder colorway,
That's
which is
really
like
pretty.
a dusty purple, and it's going to be a hat. So sort of a gray purple colorway. The other single skein that I bought was the same as the one that I put in the colorway, but in the giveaway, but this yellow. And I got the fingerless glove pattern to go with this that I'm going to be making because I'm very intrigued. I love the feel of this yarn, and I know I'm going to love knitting with it, but I couldn't figure out which color to buy as if I were to buy a full sweater. So I thought that's fine. You know, with internet, I can buy it anytime I want, really. So I thought if I do decide that I want to knit this in a full sweater, then I'll get some later. Oh, that ended up in here. That's not supposed to be there. The other two. Okay, next I'll let you know. I didn't want to buy sock yarn except to make one pair of socks. Jan Clay, who is a friend of ours, and I met at Rhinebeck, she had gifted me a pattern. What was it called? The honeycomb sock pattern by Louise Tilbrook at Christmas time. And I knew that I wanted a solid, subtle colorway for that. And so I ended up buying some Coop Knits sock yarn in this kind of lilac colorway. And this is going to become...
I'd say that's more periwinkle.
Yeah, it's sort of a...
It's more blue than
There's
purple.
a blue... Yeah. There's kind of... It's almost like... Yeah. There's a blueness, gray-blue, lilac-y sort of
it's
combination.
Almost chicory flower colors.
Yeah. So that's going to become those socks. And I really loved... There was some other really interesting colors in the Coop Knits that were... There were just interesting combinations of like... slightly undefinable, you know?
Why are you trying to get it to stay there?
Shush.
Oh. Oh! What is that?
Oh.
Those are my... I forgot to talk about them.
At one stall I bought a lot. Midwinter yarns. which is actually an online shop, and they sell mainly Scandinavian yarns. I ended up buying yarn from Finland, which I thought was kind of funny. I'm half Finnish. I go to Scotland and I end up buying yarn from Finland. So I bought a sweater quantity, which I'll show you in a minute, but they also had this 100% Gotland yarn. And I actually went, it's
a little rough.
It's a little rough, but there's kind of a mohair feel to it. It's got a lot of a halo to it. And I bought some Gotland here last summer, or in September when I went to the Almont Fiber Festival. And the colorways they had, I was like, they were all beautiful. And since then I've gone on their website because I might need a whole lot more of this. But I bought this to make a second Stag Shawai shawl by Isolde Teague, because the first one was actually for a friend of mine and she loved it, so it is gone to her, and I'm going to make myself a brown one. And this is it's by Filcolana Gotland yarn, which I think is from Denmark. The other yarn that I got from there is called Pirkkalanka. It's from Finland, and it's a worsted weight. Oh, there I went out of. And I bought 6 skeins of this, which is going to become the Caspian, which is a Gansey pattern by, I think it's by Jared Flood. It's from the Brooklyn Tweed collection. And Kristen of Ullenvine actually gifted me the pattern a little while ago, and so I wanted to buy yarn for that sweater. So I was really glad I bought yarn for that sweater and yarn for the branches and buds.
Oh, it is a little bit marled. I was wondering if maybe that was just shadow, but there is a little bit of marling in it.
Yeah. And they had beautiful colors as well. Then I was walking around and I saw this woman wearing this gray sweater.
Yes.
And I said, is that the Nuke from the Lynne magazine? And she said, yes. She said, oh, the yarn is from those people in the second aisle.
And Selma went.
Off I went.
Thank you very much.
Kate Hawthorne of Hawthorne Crafts is also wearing the Nuke. And it's a very simple raglan construction, but I just really like it just fits really nicely. And it's a short sleeve, meant to be a layering piece. So I actually ended up buying 2 yarns for that. I bought enough of this. This is Whistle Bear, which is made of their own mohair and their own Wensleydale. Again, slightly scratchy.
But it's not the combination you'd think. That's mostly mohair and a little bit of Wensleydale.
Yes, it's 80% mohair and 20% Wensleydale. And this was the exact same colorway that the woman had. I just fell in love with it. And so I don't have the Lynne magazine. I'm hoping that they're going to put the Nuke, they're going to single sale their patterns at some point, or I might just have to make it up. We'll see. Because
I'm sure we can find a second-hand copy somewhere.
Perhaps. It was really the only pattern that I wanted to make in the magazine, so I decided not to buy the magazine, but now I have to figure out how to get the pattern. So, anyway, I bought that. And then the women at the stall, along with Dana. Oh, I'm sorry, I keep putting us out of focus. Hello, camera. There we are.
Here we go.
The women in the stall convinced me that
You twisted your arm, did they?
Perhaps I should buy, although this is green, it just wasn't quite the green that I was looking, that maybe I wanted to make a second Nuke, kind of a spring color Nuke in this light green. And I acquiesced. What can I say? Sure, I'll spend more of my money. And I bought enough of this. This one's DK. It's the same combination. It's their Wensleydale mohair. The other one was called Chainmail, and this one is Serene Sage. This one's DK. The other one is Aran, and so this will be a lighter version. And I think that's it.
Are you sure?
I think that's it. I wasn't totally crazy, eh? Did I a little
No,
crazy, but not
you're
totally
okay.
crazy. You know, I will not be going to EYF again, I suspect. I think this was kind of a once-in-a-lifetime chance. So I've got beautiful memories. I will have 4 sweaters that will be my EYF memories, as well as some other little items. And it was great. Hello to everybody that I met there. It was really, like, my heart was just swelling. It was just so nice to meet so many lovely, lovely people. So those are my purchases from EYF.
I forgot to show something.
Well, that's not really new stash.
It's new to me.
I didn't show them the
It's stash
scroll
that's
total
kind of
you
gone
gave me
around.
last week.
That's okay. I needed to show it because it's pretty.
Yeah, it's been through 3 people. That was from Crystal. It's Malabrigo Rasta.
And
in
the other thing I wanted
Canopy colorway, I think.
to show, I post these on Instagram, but these are the minis that I dyed up.
And they are lovely. And that black is more like a really dark
It's a very,
brown.
very dark brown, yeah.
I wanted
In
black,
certain
but
lights.
it didn't turn out right, and like, you know, of course the green. But yeah, so I took my
Beautiful.
skein and I did 10 skeins, 10 mini skeins.
You forgot one in the bag.
That's tiny, mini.
Oh.
Mini, mini, mini.
Mini minis.
Wow.
Those are her leading men.
These are my leading men, which will be getting
That was my idea.
some speckles later today on them.
I love this one.
So that's the crimson.
Beautiful color.
Which is coming up a little orangey in there. It's a little bit more...
It's more of a pinky red.
Yeah. And then these, which...
And that green is totally being blown out. It is way brighter than that.
Oh boy. Yeah.
The orange is showing up, the green isn't.
Nope.
Not even close.
No, it's bright.
It's neon.
It's highlighter green.
Yeah.
It's green. Now, are you going to explain the colorway names? Or are you going to wait till they're finished?
I think you should wait till they're finished.
Okay.
But it's to do with leading men.
Yes.
Well, I might have already said it on Instagram.
I
Yeah,
think
you
you
did.
did.
I did.
actually.
My idea was that since her original yarns were all named after Marilyn Monroe movies, that she should name these after Marilyn's leading men.
Yeah. So we have Clark
Gable green.
Laurence Olivier orange, and
I don't remember who the red one was.
it's not Cary Grant crimson. It's
Tony Curtis?
Yes, it's Tony Curtis.
Tony Curtis crimson.
From Some Like It Hot.
Yep. But
No,
I'm
was
going.
that Some Like It Hot?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah. The band one?
I don't know.
Where
I've never
she's in the
seen
music
it, but I know
band?
he was in
That's
that
Some
with
Like
her.
It Hot one? I've seen that movie so many times and I can't remember the title.
I've never seen any of them. So.
They're going to get soaked, and there's going to be some kind of speckle action going on. But we'll have to
Fun.
wait and see. Yeah, that's it. So
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, it was a longie.
we're not done.
Oh
I
my
was gonna say,
gosh.
that was just it for the stash. There's more.
So our giveaway winner
so
for
sorry.
the Stargazer shawl that we offered up last week by Marcia Ibuki, who is very little, is post number 12, who was Crafty PW, and her name is Carolyn.
Congratulations.
Yep, I will get Marcia to send that off to you. And then, of course, the new giveaway, I'm giving away 2 copies of the pattern that we were gifted, the Progression shawl.
The one she
Which-
showed you on the tablet.
I haven't figured out how I'm going to do that yet. And we got coupons. We got
So are you going to
lots
start
of
a thread for that?
We added that. I'm probably going to start a thread for it.
Okay. So look out for that. And you can win a copy of that shawl.
So we have quite a few coupons because I added another one this week. Tracy, who is T Plays Nice, has given us 20% off of her pattern Little Step Socks until April 4th, and the code is 2tangled20.
The word 2 tangled 20.
Yes.
Ocean Creations UK has given us 10% off until April 30th, and the code is the word 2 tangled 10.
Annie Pearl has given us 15% off until the end of the year with the code TANGLED15.
Geektastic Fibers, 15% off until the end of the year. These people are generous. And it's the number 2 Tangled spelled out.
And our new one is Frog Peak Creations, 10% off until the end of the year. The code is all numbers, 2TNG. 2017.
I have to say, I'm really intrigued to see. I don't know some of these ones, so I'm looking forward to going to see.
Annie Pearl's my friend from Milwaukee.
Annie Pearl is the one, the cat bag I got.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Cool. Bags by Awesome Granny. We have an ongoing coupon for 10% off. And it's the number 2, TS, and the number 10, 2TS10.
And last but not least, 6 Munchkin Stitching, ongoing coupon code for 10%. And it's the word 2Tangled 10.
We're gonna
Lots
have
of coupons.
We're going to have a new coupon code very soon, but it has to wait till my order gets here.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah. So, well, yeah, the Frog Peak Creations, we were chatting over Etsy, and she gave us that, and she had posted it in our coupon code thread.
I ordered a project bag that I've been wanting since Jen bought hers like a month ago. And as soon as my income tax refund came in, I went to her shop to see if it was still there, and it was. So I was like, yoink. And she said, oh, I'll send you a bag for a giveaway, and I'll send you a coupon code. I'm like,
Very
okay.
nice. Thank you.
Yeah, so...
I will tell you who that is when it comes in.
This is a long one.
Yes.
I'm looking at
this
the
is
time.
probably the longest one we've ever had.
Oh,
I'm so
well.
sorry.
Sorry, not sorry.
I know.
Yeah.
Kills me to sit through podcasts this long. I do it anyway, but it kills me. I usually have to take a few breaks.
Yeah. So we understand if you have to.
And
take
I
a few
really
breaks.
need to pee now.
And we all needed to know that. Thank you, Lynn.
So I guess
I've been
we'll be
sitting
going
here for
now.
2 hours.
We'll be going now. And her bottle's empty.
Yeah, my bottle's empty. It was full when I got here.
So happy crafting, everybody.
Happy crafting.
And we'll see you all next week.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.